way in Switzerland, and you tuning into the Black on Fire Radio. And this man say, what? Andrew Robinson, your Jamaican brother, they are reaching out to all the massive on the African continent. And you're tuning into the Pan-African Bliss Show with your host, none other than Joey, from Monday to Friday. Stay tuned. Andrew Robinson, love, respect, and justice for all. Big up, massive.
Bringing communities together around the world. Broadcasting worldwide, online 24/7. All your favorites from the 60s through to today.
Salutations, man. All the way. And you tuning into
Flying the
the Black on Fire Radio.
I want to do anything I want to. Let me do anything you want to. I love your body, make you feel alright. Flying the killer to cool mama. I want to do anything I want tonight. Make you do anything you want. Say I go take. We are go take. Oh yeah, take. Oh yeah, take. Me I go take. You go take. I go take. Oh yeah, take. I go take. Till I go take. Oh yeah, take. Oh yeah, take. I go take. She don't take. Oh yeah, take. Oh yeah, take. She like it. I go she like to do video. She said she don't want no money. So I get all you need. Turn up your body, make you feel alright. Flying the killer, we go cool, mama. I want to do anything I want tonight. Let me do anything you want tonight. Turn up your body, make you feel alright. Flying the killer, we go cool, mama. I want to do anything I want tonight. Let me do anything you want. Say I go take. We are go take. Oh yeah, take. Oh yeah, take. We are go take. We go take. I go take. Oh yeah, take. I go take. Till I go take. Oh yeah, take. Oh yeah, take. I go take. She don't take. Oh yeah, take. She was melody. She got it when they make a man sing. And I'm ready. She know they leave. And she can come with Mr. Romantic. As for the action, they let my knees. For the loving and the she never see. I feel to love you tonight. Oh, I feel love you for life. But she don't turn on my mind. She said she ain't family you. She said she don't.
Yes, a very good warm afternoon all the way from the 254 family. Karibuni sana to another beautiful Pan-African Bliss Show right here on the Black on Fire Network radio station media of the 21st century. 7 minutes to 1 p.m. Hope you guys are doing amazing. I hope you guys are waking up to a beautiful Tuesday. And of course, it's a beautiful, beautiful afternoon right here. I can't complain. And of course, looking forward to having a beautiful discussion today where we shall be focusing on West Africa specifically as our major conversation. And of course, when you talk about West Africa, you know which countries I'm talking about. The three democratic countries. We're talking about Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger, who have currently been able to finalize the plan for their confederation. And of course, this is something amazing. We'll try tackle actually positive news today and nothing much of the negative of what is happening in the African continent. And of course, this is actually including just the western part of actually Africa. Burkina Faso also this weekend, they did reject a loan that actually was being offered by the IMF. I'll be sharing a video on that and much more of what is coming also from these other countries. I'll also share a video coming also from DRC Congo. We get to see a glimpse of how the Chinese companies that literally are the ones extracting resources in this country, how they're treating our people. And we see them actually. It is so crazy how people are being treated. It is so crazy. So that is our top discussions for today. How people are literally begging for food. And of course, checking on to our very dear own president, William Ruto, who's currently in the States to discuss about how Kenya can strengthen its relationship with the United States. And this is in terms of development, in terms of democracy, in terms of sovereignty, and all that. But of course, Karibuni Sana, that is our top discussion for today. I'll be coming back with the quote of the day. And of course, remember to share anything positive that you have. I began, of course, with an amazing jam. That is the one and only Wizkid with Anoti. Actually, that is one of my favorite bangers on an album he released some time back. But of course, I'm getting back to the jam once again, and this is by the one and only HR the Messenger, and the name of the jam is Thankful. Let me know what you are really grateful for. This amazing morning. What is it that you're literally giving gratitude back to? Personally, I give gratitude back to life. I give gratitude back to health. I have nothing to complain about. I am grateful for being in this amazing space. I am grateful for my position. I am grateful for, everything literally in my life and everyone around me, literally that makes and creates an impact in my life. I'm so, so grateful. But let me know what are your gratitudes that you have for today. This is HR the Messenger with Thankful.
Yes. Yeah. It's the messenger. The Eve Express. Yo, hey yo, I'm thankful. Wake up in the morning, counting blessings, it's a handful. Get down on my knees, then I start the day. I'm thankful you're gonna food a plate. My phone ringing, it's my girl and she on the way. She cooked me a good meal, girl. I'm thankful. Nakumbuka nikiwa kwa hiyo bed ya OC every day. I couldn't move a muscle, only thing I felt was pain. But she was by my side, telling me it'll be okay, baby. Breathe, baby. I couldn't even see, girl, I couldn't even cry. My mom's on my side crying to God like my baby ain't about to die. But I'm thankful I'm alive. Thankful to family and the homies by my side. Thankful for the fans that been waiting for the vibes. Few dark days, but the devil is alive. Feel my pain, really get inside. But it's got the himself and bro. How this music better touch your soul. You know go way up and walk under your water. Bills in a stock, health declines. Unashindwa mbona mimi usmindy. Keep your head up, don't let that weakness define you. You was made for a purpose, God when he designed you. Bado unapigana, vita vitakatifu na uwezi kuwaidia muda wake ukiwadia. So bado wepigana, vita vitakatifu juu uwezi kuwaidia muda wake umewadia. Bado wepigana, vita vitakatifu uwezi kuwaidia muda wake umewadia.
Thank God you're feeling better right now. And thank God that you're in your element. Okay,
Yes, that is actually the messenger with Thankful. And of course, shout out to him, one of our amazing, amazing hosts right here on the Black Hot Financial Radio Station. Catch him every Saturday and of course Tuesday and Thursdays on the Black Kings frequency. On Saturday, it gets to bring you amazing, amazing artists and of course catch up the amazing, amazing stories. On Saturday, we had an amazing guest actually, and it was nothing but just vibes, I tell you, full of energy, full of energy. Shout out to Bad Boy. Woo, I can't remember the other name, but anyway, shout out to the guy. Shout out to Freedom Media as well, who's in the building, and a quick shout out to everyone live with us also on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitter, and on the show page and on the radio station. In case this is the first time right here, I'd love to urge you kindly to follow us on whatever stream you are listening with live from, and of course, kindly do remember to also you can find us, or rather, you can find the Black Hot Fire Network app on the Google Play Store. Very easy. Just rush to the Google Play Store if you are an Android user and search for Black Hot Fire Network. You'll find us right there. And which actually the app gives you amazing, amazing chances of listening as you chat with your amazing family and friends on WhatsApp, on the Messenger, on Instagram, on your email, whatever you'd be loved to doing as you listen and stay tuned on the media of the 21st century. It's exactly 1 p.m. on the dot. Let me know what's the time on your end. And of course, welcome to today's discussion. And of course, as I get started, I ask you guys, what are you grateful for? What are you giving gratitude back towards? Personally, I said life and a bunch of things, but let me know, what are you grateful for? Are you grateful for having health? Are you grateful for your job? Are you grateful for your salary? Are you grateful for the, space you have, And actually, even if you're not grateful, you are where you're supposed to be, because that is one thing I've learned about life. As long as we really want it so bad to be where we really want to be, God or life places you, whoever you worship, places you in a position currently where you are is where you're supposed to be. So whether you like it or not, this is where you're supposed to be. Okay. But my quote of today is, as a tackle Tuesday, remember that coffee is in one hand and confidence is in the other. And you've got this, and have an amazing day ahead of you, But personally, I'd not advise you to take too much coffee. Just one cup or two is enough. And of course, have a beautiful, beautiful day. And as we get started immediately without wasting much of the time, I want to start with what is happening. And of course, positive news, what is happening in Burkina Faso. And this is actually, I think, during this weekend, where we can see the country did reject a loan that was being offered by the IMF. We've seen since Burkina Faso, Niger, and Mali attained their true independency, which is actually powerful. We're talking about power, where they're now independent in making decisions, of what they want in their country, how they can run their agriculture, how they want the economy to run. Literally, that is what we can see, and we are observing right here. But of course, for today, I want to share this video, what Burkina Faso junta Ibrahim Traoré did, and why he did actually reject the assistance from the IMF. And of course, we know why. This video explains it very well, but I'll be giving my own points of view, as you get to see on this other end, where we have Ruto, the president of Kenya, who is in the US for a state visit, which is supposed to be helping Africa or other countries to tackle development and all that. And I can see on his speech, he did mention actually how, he did mention a couple of things, and I'll be talking about it as we get to move on with this one. Karibuni sana to everyone who's just tuning in, and enjoy the show.
As of 2023, Africa's total debt amounted to about $1.8 trillion. Interestingly, as high as this figure may seem, it is actually lower than any world region. Now, currently, we know that countries that are highly indebted is Ghana. Let me just check that before giving a wrong statistics. Let me look at that. Which countries in Africa currently are the highly indebted? So we're talking about Ghana, actually, is the first country. We have Angola, followed by Kenya, followed by Zambia, followed by Rwanda. Oh my God, Rwanda. Okay, Guinea, Cameroon, and Malawi. And of course, I bet we also have so many other more. But of course, the first three, we have Ghana, Angola, and Kenya. I'm surprised to see Nigeria is not literally here on this map, but I'm certain is among the countries that probably I can't see from the page I'm pulling. But when you talk about Ghana and Kenya, these two presidents of this country recently, that is last month, did meet, and they did actually also talk about how they can strengthen their relationship in terms of infrastructure development and all that. And if you try to look at the strategy they're using, is all about, again, not using our resources, not creating employment, not using, finding ways how we can start farming, start trading, dropping the visas, dropping the borders and all that. That is not the strategy they're using, but the strategy they're using is going back to the same people who are not enabling them to develop, which is the IMF, the World Bank, same WhatsApp group, to beg them for money for them to develop their countries. And shout out to Beth. I remember she did say this on the show she was having with Iwaton, that when you look at these countries, and I'm glad to see that young people are starting to understand, when our countries, we have loans being given to us, it comes with conditions. And this is why we have so much fucked up infrastructures and developments that we claim we have, well, there's nothing. Literally, when you go to the other countries, you're like, wow, surprised. Or when you go to out of the African continent, you're like, wow, what is this? People are way ahead while we're accepting money, thinking this is helping us, but in no way. Surprise you to know that Germany, a country
to Tarifa, the bartender, Karibu Sana, I'm glad you're relating,
in Europe, has a debt stock of about $2.9 trillion, which is far greater than all the debts of African countries put together. However, the problem is that African countries' debts are burdensome and put a lot of pressure on their economies because they are mainly owed to international rather than domestic lenders.
Exactly. And if you try to look at the way we are lended this money, which he is going to explain, let me just play it a little bit.
In contrast, developed countries such as Germany, the United States, and the United Kingdom usually borrow from domestic creditors. And the difference between these two
is that external.
We are far from getting there. I agree, but we are. I believe we're getting there. I believe we have. Now that we're seeing African people waking up, I believe we are actually getting there slowly.
External lenders prefer to lend to developing countries in their own currency or international hard currencies, such as the dollar, while domestic lenders lend using the country's local currency. Now, more than 30% of Africa's total debt is owed to so-called development organizations like the World Bank and IMF.
Exactly, development organization. And I just want to switch a little bit. We get to see what now Ruto is in the States to talk about, you know, because this is the same agenda that he's talking about. And if you try to look at the development agendas we have as a continent and the people who are literally helping us to do this, there's nothing that literally is happening in the African continent. This is why we keep on lagging behind. This is why, because this is why we're so behind. And I want you to pay keen attention to the way I'm gonna take the show till the end, where we're gonna share the video of these people of Congo, how they're being exploited to extract resources that never benefit them. We have a Chinese man who left, you know, ate some food. He's now full and calls now one of these people are working there to come eat the food that he's left over, the leftover food. I'm extracting billions, trillions of money going to literally other countries, developing. But I'm here begging for food in the most fertile continent and country. And we have people who do not even understand what food is, do not even know anything about organic food, are here giving us food. It is super, super crazy and such a shame. But let me talk about, of course, a little bit as we get to move on, as we get to understand what these development organizations that help Africa to develop, you know, what they're all about, as we check what Ruto is also doing. So yesterday we did check on to where it was his first actually day. On his 4th day, he's supposed to go for 4 days. That is the state trip he has in the United States. And of course, we saw some of the pictures that were being shared yesterday, the preparations, how the White House in the States was waiting for him and all that. But what is the agenda? Because we didn't tackle, and we waited today to see after his arrival, what is he gonna say? So we see President William Ruto is using his first ever state visit to the States, to the US, to deliver a regional message for bilateral trip. In his first engagement since landing on the US soil on Monday, on the US soil, God damn it, President Ruto spoke about climate change, financial restructuring, and dealing with regional security problem. However, he said the allure of democracy may wane if enthusiasts of freedom of choice continue to wallow in poverty, especially in Africa. President Ruto was speaking on global democracy partnership, an engagement in the Carter Center in Atlanta, named after former U.S. President Jimmy Carter. And the audience includes Carter grandson Jason, and I won't read all the names of the people involved. President Ruto had been expected to speak about the growth of democracy in Kenya over the years, but he also used the occasion to speak about the challenges facing the continent. He says, in several countries, we have seen constitutional change of governments and excuse me, just a little bit. Don't go in my eye. But yeah. They're saying that in several countries, we have seen constitutional change of government that have threatened democratic gains. Consequently, this is a crucial time of reflecting on the need to strengthen democracy worldwide. Well, we can't talk about democracy while the one we have, number one, is a fake democracy. That is where we need to start from. And this is why we go back and again look at why is Niger, Mali, and Burkina Faso forming their own confederation, their own alliances. You know, why they're chasing away the US troops. We can't talk about actually independence or development or democracy while the one you're actually in is a fake one. The moment you actually accept that, hey, I was not elected by the people but selected, and I see the direction we're taking is actually a wrong one, we accept a revolution. Then I'm sorry, but this is all a perpetuism talk. I love calling it that. This is all a perpetual talk. Nothing else. But yes, just a little bit far, we move back to the video. We'll go back to the article as you see what more of the development agenda does Ruto has to present for the African continent. And why
loans
Niger or Burkina Faso is in denial of the same assistance.
usually come with certain conditions that African countries must fulfill.
Exactly. Certain conditions, including where if I want to bring the UN peacekeepers in your country, I will. If I want to come actually put an embassy there, I will. Because, excuse me, I gave you a loan in dollars. Do you have dollars to pay me right now? Because I don't want no goddamn money back in your currency. I want it in dollars. Do you have money? Oh, no. So, excuse me, I'm going to deal with you by extracting resources. I have these 6 counties in Kenya that we have discovered, or you guys have discovered some, cobalt. I'll send my people there to come and go check, what is happening. What is the statistics? What are the opportunities there for us to get our money back? Because I'm certain this is what other countries are literally facing. These people refuse to leave because the money they have given us come with certain conditions and come in their currency, which Africa can't be able to pay. Because again, the value of our resources is not understood.
According to reports, these loans from the IMF and the conditions attached with them have contributed massively to the bad state of most African economies.
Yep.
This is why Thomas Sankara, in his critique of debt, stated that debt is neo-colonialism, in which colonizers have transformed themselves into technical assistants. Under its current form, controlled and dominated by imperialism, debt is a skillfully managed reconquest of Africa. And this is why during his reign as president of Burkina Faso, Sankara rejected loans and assistance from IMF and World Bank, and even tried to persuade other African countries to collectively refuse to pay their financial debts to their former colonizers.
Exactly. And this is what we saw actually, people like, shout out to John Magufuli, the late. We saw him actually saying any leader in the African continent, going all the way, taking all these trips, going to borrow money from the IMF, the World Bank. You must be retarded. This is why we have the people now, when you check the IQ, that is why we need to put these puppet leaders on that level, not the Africans in general. The retarded ones here, the lowest IQ here, are these puppets who are chosen to actually lead the African continent. That is the group. That is the group. Magufuli said it very, very well. And we saw actually him standing to his ground and his words by number one saying, we do not and we will not take the VACCINEs during the COVID-19. And when he did that, they eliminated him. And now we have Samia Suluhu. Number one agenda. Samia Suluhu, the number one things we saw actually being gazetted when Samia Suluhu actually invited the US foreign investors, or wherever you want to call them. They checked on resources. They checked on so many things that literally could benefit them. One of the things that Magufuli had refused, number one, not actually even having a talk or sitting down with these people to talk anything. So this is what this video actually is explaining. This is what this video is explaining. Africa is so rich. Look at Nigeria, just Nigeria alone itself. Look at Congo, Kenya too. Literally the whole continent is rich. So what is stopping us? But again, what is happening in the West Africa, it gives me so much hope. And that's why I was so excited seeing the joy Dr. Arikana has. Could trust me, talking with so much passion like this, and then this can't be in vain. It will have to transform. Things will have to change, and people are waking up. I was so happy to see the joy Dr. Arikana had landing in Burkina Faso, expressing and being somewhere at least. It's so much joy, trust me. Like, can you imagine landing somewhere where you've had so much hope of something to happen, at least even if it's one country? It's so joyful. So personally, my hope, which is not really I hope, but I see it happening, when these 3 West African countries start developing economically, infrastructure-wise, in so much. When talk about education, when they drop things, let's say like school fees becomes free, education becomes free, healthcare becomes free. When Africa will actually be having everything that we've been all denied and we see it working, it's going to become questionable to the rest of the countries. And I can't wait to see it happen, because I'm certain that is also the agenda of these three juntas, to make the rest of the African countries to see what has been happening.
In a bid to follow in Sankara's footsteps, Ibrahim Traoré, the current president of Burkina Faso, has taken a similar initiative. According to recent reports, Traoré has turned down financial assistance from the IMF, showcasing his commitment to safeguarding his country's long-term interests. For decades, African countries have been collecting loans from the World Bank and IMF in order to carry out one developmental project or the other.
Exactly. And it never happens. You know, funny thing is, let me tell you now the crazy shitty part. And pardon my French, but this is just the craziest, shittiest part of it. We're given loans by conditions. Number one, how we can develop these infrastructures, which we see is the Chinese companies that come here, number one, to create these poor infrastructures. Talk about our road, the current most expensive and most good road in East Africa, expressway, which we saw it couldn't even pass water during the floods, during the rain season, which is still raining. It couldn't even pass water. So what kind of infrastructure is that? We're supposed to be paying this debt in the next, I don't know how many years. I even lost track. And we're talking about billions, but that's not even it. When you're given these loans with conditions, when the people have to come actually create these infrastructures for you or this development for you, it's not even your own people. While you have engineers in your country, you have graduates, but they won't be given an opportunity. The saddest part is where these puppets have to pocket the money. That is the crazy, shittiest part. You're not only given money by condition, but these people have the nerve and the audacity to pocket the money and show you an incomplete bridge in the name of this. We used 100 billion to construct this. Make that make sense. Just make that make sense, being honest. That is the craziest, shittiest, nuttiest. I don't know even how to call it. It's just so disgusting. Like, I give you money by condition. How to spend it, who you're going to actually have there to show you how to use my money, you know? But you, being wicked the way you're wicked, you know, you don't even care this is a loan or who's going to suffer the consequences of how we're going to pay this debt. You've already taken the money, you give a little bit of it, then pocket the rest. This is just so crazy. But again, like I said, my hope, which is not really a hope because it's happening, Burkina Faso, Niger, and Mali are going to be the rise of the rest of the African countries. But shout out to Keith in the building. Shout out to Tarifa, the bartender. Thank you so much for following the live creator. I don't know if you're still there, but says a student from Harvard just asked Ruto why too much taxes on Kenya. Reason is to repay the loans. That is what he's been saying. These selected coons, that's the answer. Of course, that is what they have to say. That is what they've been told to say. I don't know if this is happening still under conditions where he needs to keep on raising taxes, but this is not going to help. This is not going to help. Have you seen how many people are going to lose their jobs? Oh, where's my phone? Have you seen how many people are about to lose their jobs because of this tax bullshit? So many people, we're talking about thousands of people about to lose jobs because of this increase of taxes left, right, and center. So this is not helping. There's no way this country is actually moving forward. I was laughing at Nigeria, but I think we're actually the same point right now as Nigeria. We're not actually way far. We're in the same WhatsApp group, same brother and sister, looking at each other and staring at each other because all we're doing is the same nonsense, stealing money, pocketing. I don't see no difference right now with Nigeria, Ghana, and Kenya. And the rest you can add as they follow, but the top three. This is just so crazy. Let me show you guys. let me say, I did screenshot this yesterday. We have thousands of people who are about to lose their jobs because of this nonsense of taxation. So Kenyan cooking oil makers have said that a new tax on vegetable oil will make many things more expensive. And do you remember last week we had Kenya raising taxes on money transfer, data, what else? There's a bunch of things that were actually, taxed. And now we have cooking oil, which cooking oil could cost to 80% more. Blue Band, which is margarine, could jump to 87.5%, which is 300. And the bread might go up to 14%. That is from 65 right now to 80. And even bathing soap could be 50% more expensive. And they also say this tax could hurt more, or over 40,000 jobs in the oil industry. Not just the oil industry. Look at the bread industry. Look at the soap industry. So many industries are going to be affected. So we have many jobs actually at stake because of these decisions that are being made poorly. And which is crazy. Well, which is so easy. All we have to do is just chase away the British people out of our farms. Let's start trading agriculture-wise and we see if we're not going to develop. Like, what is stopping us? That is just the question. But I also see Tarifa, the button that says, loans from the previous regimes, there are so many. But if you look at Kenya, I used to think Kenya started borrowing since Mwai Kibaki, but I was wrong. Kenya started borrowing way long time ago, during Jomo Kenyatta's era. Once we had the puppet Jomo Kenyatta installed them. But I also see Kids says there's no difference, Joby. I agree. And it says that the IMF made them do that because of the loans. It is so crazy. This is so crazy. But shout out to Burkina Faso for making up this decision.
However, these loans usually come with stringent conditions such as reducing government expenditure on social infrastructure, which end up hurting the citizens of the country. However, like Thomas Sankara, Ibrahim Traore believes that the IMF and the World Bank are agents of economic oppression who keep countries in perpetual debt through their structured operations.
Exactly.
It is a well-known fact that once a country becomes indebted to the IMF and the World Bank, it becomes very difficult to break free from that debt because the economic policies which come with the loans and must be implemented by the government of that country actually hurt the economy rather than improve it.
Exactly.
Hence, Traore believes that countries that are indebted to these organizations will never achieve economic independence. This is the reason he made this bold decision, and it demonstrates his dedication to prioritizing the well-being of his people above all else. Aside from interfering in the economy of African countries, receiving loans and aid from the IMF and World Bank also opens the way for these organizations, which are headed by the West, to interfere in the political affairs of African countries. This interference has created a breed of African puppets who act in the interest of the West.
Yep.
However, Traore has been quite vocal against the interference of the West in African matters and has made it clear that he will not tolerate any form of Western intervention in his country. It's therefore not a surprise that President Traore's decision coincided with that of the Prime Minister of Burkina Faso,
Ibrahim Traore. Like, what?
Recent speech on the country's national television, where he spoke expressly on the subject titled, "No one violates freedom of expression as much as Westerners." During his 30-minute-long speech, the Prime Minister highlighted some interesting points. First, he said that it is better to be poor in a rich and strong state than to be rich in a weak state.
Yep.
He said that the current state of poverty in Africa is partly due to attempts to weaken African leaders and destabilize regimes. A strong state is therefore a guarantee of security and stability of institutions. It is also a factor of development. There is no doubt that if the revolution of Thomas Sankara had lasted, Burkina Faso could have been put in the development rail in less than 10 years. However, in order to build a strong state, it is necessary for the government to play out the traps conceived by the dominators to make African states weak and malleable. And among these traps, there are three that need to be analyzed, which are the so-called respect for human rights, the so-called respect of freedom of speech.
I love the way they say the so-called, because it is true, the so-called human rights, the so-called, all that they keep on calling themselves. It is the so-called, like, because what the hell?
And the neo-colonial
mosquito.
Institutions of our modern state. The Prime Minister further noted that if human rights were not known in Africa, Europeans would not have come to find kingdoms and organized societies with brilliant civilizations and post-colonial African art, which dazzled the Europeans to the point that they stole these works of art to fill their museums and salons of aristocrats. Without an elaborate social organization that respected the rights of each social category in African societies, they would not have been able to achieve the results they had. However, the Prime Minister said that today human rights have become an instrument of control of third world societies in the service. They allow the West to have the guarantee that its local values, some of which are directly financed by the West and others indirectly by distorted procedures, will have the latitude to carry out their activities in order to infiltrate state activities and weaken the state for their benefit. He then went on to cite examples of countries like Cuba, Nicaragua, Venezuela, and Iran, which have been able to face all attempts of destabilization due to their strong state and visionary policies of their leaders. The Prime Minister further articulated a detailed perspective regarding the state of fundamental and human rights in Burkina Faso as compared to the West. He emphasized that in Burkina Faso, fundamental rights are yet to be addressed, highlighting the essential aspects of human rights, including access to food, healthcare, education, and adequate housing for the citizens. The Prime Minister went on to criticize the stance of the West, pointing out that Western nations do not see these basic rights satisfied in their countries. He further spoke on the disparity in treatment when it comes to human rights violations. He said that in the West, violations are usually overlooked or handled with measures to maintain order, but similar violations in other regions are subject to severe condemnation. This clearly is a double standard on the part of the West, and there are many examples that highlight this. He gave an example of the United States, where individuals deemed a threat to national security are eliminated without due process, and there is little or no international scrutiny on these obvious acts of human rights violations. He also gave historical and even recent acts of foreign interventions by global powers like the United States and France in various countries, which end up being detrimental to local populations. Specifically, the Prime Minister mentioned France's involvement in coups across Francophone Africa, as well as its support for terrorism in the Sahel region, which has resulted in thousands of deaths and presents an ongoing challenge for the present populace. But that's not all. Even within France itself, the Prime Minister noted that there have been several instances of domestic unrest and government actions, citing examples of the Yellow Vest protest in 2018 and the controversial death of Jean Nahel in 2023, which led to further social upheaval in France. According to reports, there was excessive use of force and even torture to suppress protests, all of which suggest a lack of accountability for human rights violations within France. However, the Prime Minister noted that despite these obvious accounts of gross human rights violations from the West, international bodies and media have been quiet and silent regarding these issues. And it raises concern.
And they keep on actually lying. They keep on actually even fueling lies, despite they keep on even fueling lies about the countries. Now we've been seeing news from BBC accusing Burkina Faso, Niger, and Mali of killing civilians and all kind of lies. They keep on fueling lies because they control the information.
Concerns about the select.
Glad we saw Burkina Faso, of course, chasing away all these mainstream medias, and that is what Africa should have done from the beginning.
Active focus on human rights based on geopolitical interest in addressing the broader implications of these issues. Therefore, there is a need for a more consistent and universal approach to upholding human rights principles across the globe. He called for greater accountability for all nations irrespective of their geopolitical significance, emphasizing the importance of promoting ethical governance and respecting the fundamental rights of individuals. Regarding freedom of expression.
Pause it for a second for me, Joey.
Karibu sana.
Come on. Asante sana. You beat me to the punch. Yeah, yeah. The greeting, you beat me. Yeah. So you have a problem with your lashes there.
No, it's money cooking, so the onion is
Oh,
literally
oh.
affecting my eyes.
There's a money to calm down with the onions. God damn. What's wrong with you, Shimani? Calm down on them onions. Anyway,
Anyway,
with your,
continue.
with a crazy cooking recipes. um, um, yeah, about all the deaths they said that happened in Burkina Faso. Those are lies again, of course. That's what they do. I told you, got to get out all Western media. Like they said, prove it. Prove the death. Like I told Demore, those are lies. What they do. They don't want to leave Africa. Has made all these crackers rich. All of them. So them being kicked out of Africa is detrimental to them being a power, a world power. Europeans have never been world powers until they got Africa. Never. Poor, backward, stupid. I was thinking of a movie on Amazon. It was actually good. I didn't know about that story. There was a this how you know the nonsense they tell you. During slavery, there was an African prince. Well, they took a bunch of princes, but there was a prince that got caught up in the slave trade. He was from the Mali region. What did he say the name of the city was? Tombo, or something like that. Anyway, he got caught up. He wasn't supposed to get caught up, but they accidentally took him as a slave. But of course, when he's on the ship, so I tell people, I'm a prince. Shut up, nigga. Hit him in the head, right? So this how you listen. That's that Africa had well-formed kingdoms, not the shit they lie about. So he gets to Mississippi. Remember, in 1700 Mississippi, remember America wasn't developed. The African didn't really build America yet. So you're talking about undeveloped forests. So he gets there. He's like, God damn, this shit's so underdeveloped. Where have they taken me to? Because where he came from a city. You know, his kingdom had cities and books. He was well read. He spoke 5 different languages. So the people that he was sold to in Mississippi were all illiterate. They couldn't read or write. They're backward and stupid. These are white people. Okay? Understand? So you understand that they've never been smarter than you. They've been more savage. The savages. That's what you got to understand. White people are savages. So they're more savage in their dealings with African people. So he gets there. Everybody's a moron. He said, so, because he's a prince. He speaks Arabic, speaks English. He reads all these different languages. And so he's like, he tried to talk to these people. Say, I'm a prince. He said, listen, you my slave. So because he was married with kids in Africa who he never seen ever again in his life. He had married, had 2 children in Africa before they took him. So he gets to Mississippi, works on this plantation. Like they said, he was in this about 40 years because he ended up having more kids. He got married and had like 7 or 8 more children. So he had a big ass family, I know that. And so he was able, because finally one of the guys who knew him, one of the white guys he saved in Africa, ended up seeing him in Mississippi. He said, hey, I know this man. He told one of the other slave guys, I know this man. See if he has a patch over his eye. So the guy said, yes, he has a patch. And then the guy walked up and said, oh my God, aren't you Prince Rockman? His name, Prince Rockman. Aren't you Prince Rockman from Kingdom such and such? He said, yes, it is me. Oh my God, how you end up here as a slave? He said, I was captured. And could you tell my owner that I am a real prince? He went to the cracker literate, because the prince was making him millions of dollars, because the prince, them were white people that know about cotton and how to do shit, how to farm. It was the prince who showed them how to farm. So of course the prince is making this illiterate white man millions of dollars. Millions. Remember, because at that time, not just Mississippi, at that time, Mississippi was a wasteland. It was nothing but force to the Africans. Is when the Africans get to start building America for free. Building this bitch on our backs for free. So the white man goes to his slave owner and said, he is a prince. I knew this man in Africa. Testament Kingdom. Could you let him go? I'll buy his freedom. He said, no, he's my slave. He's not going no goddamn where. Because he cultivated the land in Mississippi and showed those white people how to plant, how to grow shit. See, growing agriculture was the African taught the European. These are facts. Not the European ever teach the African shit. The African taught the European how to grow. There was no growing in Europe. They were starving. So they got their punk asses out of Europe. That'd be brutal with that ass. The Europeans didn't know nothing about no fucking farming. They were backward, poor, and fucked up. That's their culture. That's their history. So the African goes over there. You can look this up, Joby. Type up Google for me. Say African Prince Rahman. How you spell Rahman? R-O. Should I say Mississippi Prince? How you spell Rahman? How do I spell that shit? If you pull up anything, I'll just say African slave Prince Rahman from Mississippi. See if that pulls up anything from Google. The African Prince from Mississippi. They say in the African. How can I look them up? African Prince from Mississippi, from Natchez, Mississippi. I'll tell us about how to look his ass up. Rahman. Anybody know how to spell Rahman in the chat room? What's going on, Cassius? I don't know how to spell that shit.
They're not bringing me none of that. They pulled me cheap flights from Africa to Mississippi.
No, that's it. We're not looking for flights. Say Mississippi slave who was an African prince. That's what say Mississippi slave who was an African prince. Did we get that? Mississippi slave who was an African prince. Because he stayed on that farm for 40 years, but he was able to actually make it back to Africa with his wife, but his slave master wouldn't sell those other two kids. So he had to leave all his children here in America.
It's called Abdul Rahman Ibrahim.
Yeah, Rahman. Yeah, Rahman. That's him, Joby. There you go, right there. That's him. There you go. That's him. So he teaches all these white people. Remember, cotton is what made America the wealthiest country on the planet. On the backs of an African. You understand this? Now you got morons in Africa, got white people teaching them how to farm. Get out of your fucking mind. Get out of your rabbit ass mind. White man didn't know how to do shit coming out of no fucking Europe. Everything he learned stolen. Even making clothes. Came from Africa. Right.
So, let me try read this. They're saying after a shackled journey across the Atlantic, Abdul Rahman Ibrahim Ibisori was desperate to make the man about to purchase him, Thomas Foster, under his terrible mistake. He wasn't supposed to be enslaved. The 26-year-old was heir to one of the Africa's most influential kingdoms. Instead of freedom, his protestations earned him the derisive nickname Prince, which he'd carry.
Yeah, divisive. It was called divisive because he tried to pretend. They didn't believe him, Joe. He said, hey, I'm a prince from Africa. Shut up, nigga. You're a slave now. They didn't believe he was a real prince. So that so it became divisive. And to the white man who met him in Africa, who he had as a guest in his kingdom, happened to show up in Mississippi one day. And they was out there on the slave plantation. He said, hey, I know this man. And the other I was like, get out of here, nigga. You don't know no white man. I know this man. He was at my, remember, Joe, they didn't believe he was a prince. He said, he was a guest at my kingdom. I took him as a guest and showed him around all my kingdoms and showed him the colleges. And another slave was like, yeah, get out of here. And so he went over, he said, just bring him back to me. Bring him over here to me. And then, of course, the white man seemed to say, oh, my God, Prince, this is you. The Prince Rockmouth from Africa, right? He said, yes. What are you doing in Mississippi as a slave? I was captured. They captured me. I was ambushed. I was taken away to slavery. I've been here. At that time, he had been enslaved for 10 years before he met the cracker. He'd already been in America 10 years as a slave. He spent the last 30 years you got to give a white man credit because he tried to free him until he died. It never happened. So at the 40 years, at the age of 60-something, he was in America 40 years as a slave. So this is different than that 12 years slave. He was 40 years a slave. So yeah, of course he got remarried, had other children, and so he's able to buy his freedom when he was old. You know, he's old now. Don't forget, he's an old nigga. We already know his technology. We know how to grow shit. We made millions of dollars off this old nigga. We can let his ass go, but we won't let his kids and grandkids go. They're gonna remain slaves. We won't let them go. So he went north and tried to petition, because he actually met the president of the United States there. He said, when he left, he was telling the story, I'm an African prince. See, they knew he was a Moorish, you know, they wrote the Moorish prince. But remember, by that time, the blacks had already lost from Morocco. They thought he was one of them white guys from Morocco. They know, you know, he's black. At that time, Morocco was still a lot of black people in Morocco. They found out, no, he's not from Morocco, then they got mad. Because basically the Arabs got all of Morocco. But everybody knows that one time Northern Africa was all black. So they didn't want to help him no more when they found he was from South. He would be around what you call today, I guess, Mali, Burkina Faso area, some around there, some around, you know, one name of these countries at that time. But, you know, they didn't want to help his ass no more. So him and his wife, the one he got in America, left, you know, in their 60s, and they had to leave all their children, his kids and grandkids here. So they were still here in Mississippi. The idea that you're not African, you got, I only say him an ear time, I'm saying, all these other people say they're not ear time. You know what the fuck you're talking about. These people do know they're African. They know their history. They know they've had princes and other people. And Joby read the other ones coming out of from New Orleans, that one I didn't even know about. So his whole lineage is still here. He luckily got to go back, but he died, sadly. As soon as he got back to Africa, his ass died like in 3 weeks he was dead. I was like, God damn. Whole damn life as a slave, he makes it back in 3 weeks to Africa. Never made it back to his house, to his kingdom. Never made it back there because by that time, that white man had already destroyed that shit. But he never made it back there. He made it to, I think, Sierra Leone or Liberia, one of them, and died like in 3 weeks of getting back to Africa. You know, he was already too old. They worked him to death. But don't let nobody tell you white people taught you shit. These are all lies that they tell to advance their fake white supremacy. Everything was taught by African people. So, like he said, when he gets off that boat as a slave, he's like, damn, these white people are stupid. He knows they're dumb. He knows they're moronic. Don't ever let them tell you that they brought you no civilization. That is a lie. He knew that they were morons. He's writing it. So these people can't even read and write. They're backwards. They're stupid. They're morons. And that's what white people were. Come on, they brought you some civilization. That stupid shit Simba be talking about. You don't know shit. Shut the fuck up. You don't know history.
Simba was just chicken. Shout out to Mzala. Shout out to Josephine.
So when they found out, he knew how to read all these languages, they was all messed up because they didn't even know how to read English. You understand? These slave owners didn't even know how to read English. That's their language. They couldn't even read that shit. And they found out because they caught him one time. Remember, reading was against the law for black people in slavery. Somebody had brought him a book in Arabic. He said, okay, since you're a prince, read this shit. He started reading it. He said, and they were like, what? You read Arabic? He said, I read about 5 or 6 languages. They're like, of course they got jealous because they couldn't even read their own fucking English.
And now we've been tend to learn their own language. It's crazy, man. We're the ones who don't know how to talk. The audacity. Yeah. John Mosquito says, let me go to the comments. Shout out to 19 people, good. 19 of you here this morning. Asanteni sana for tuning in. In case you're new, karibu sana to the Black Hot Fire Network radio station. This is the media of the 21st century. Kindly follow us and download our app, which is on the Google Play Store. If you are an Android user, if you're an iPhone user, very nice and easy. Just click onto the link that is the
now I want you guys, I'm going to jump in with the comments. I want you guys to understand the price of how much cotton was worth back then. Trillions of dollars Africans made for these white people. The economy of cotton was trillions in today's money. Trillions of dollars a year. That's why America got fucking rich. This backward motherfucking people couldn't read or write because of the African. And then they want to give reference, oh, you didn't do this. Motherfucker, we built this bitch on our backs. The rice, the cotton, the tobacco, that knowledge came from Africa. To make this motherfucker world power.
So, Cassius Williams says Congo should have deleted all the CIA coup and the US and Zionists had written as all over it. I know this is actually even going to make Keith even more angry.
They're all over Kenya. They're using Kenya right now. Shout out to Dr. Mumminess. CIA is all right there. I know, I told you. CIA right now is using Kenya to have death squads going to Sudan and Somalia right now. I knew it. I knew this was happening. Think the motherfuckers ain't running around Kenya, the damn CIA? The death squads are coming from Kenya. By the CIA. So when you see the Al-Shabaabs and all that shit, that's funded by the CIA coming from Kenya.
Mm-hmm. And he also says, Karibu Sana Cages one more time. He says, everywhere the West goes, they destroy. And that's how I was saying, with the video
everywhere.
Wind up is going to make a bunch of you angry because what Keith is literally explaining and what we're seeing today now, how Africans are being treated, it's just crazy when you look at history in reality and how did we get here? It's just so sad. Lando Karibu Sana as well, I see in the house, says, been a minute, it's nice to see you, Lando. Says, greetings family, hey Joby, hey what's up Keith, Karibu Sana, hope you're doing great, and shout out to you Lied. Thank you for giving me the name, that is Raman, yeah, that is his name. And yes, shout out to Cassius Williams as well. Thank you so much. Sister Michelle Karibu, hope you're doing amazing. She says that is sad. Well, good morning, hope you're doing amazing. Lando says there aren't any people beyond the or black people with a comparable history of the world significant. I know that's right. All other people's history is one of the savagery and destruction of black people's history. I agree with you completely. And nobody, I don't think there's any other way even to say it. Like I've said this a couple of times. If you look at Africa's history, every single day you're learning something. It's just amazing. Like it amazes you, and all that has been hidden, you're like, God damn, it's amazing. Trust me, it is so amazing. But shout out to Rati as well. Nice to see you. Or Karibu, if this is your first time. Says Guinea Conakry. Okay. And says he thinks that is the Fulani. I'm not sure what you're really talking about, but shout out to you. Lied says
was he Fulani? I don't know. Was he from Guinea Conakry? Again, what we call Guinea today? Is that what Timby? Is it in Guinea? I don't know where that was at today because there was no countries back then. I don't know where you got the same name, Ibrahim Rahman, like Joe said, I don't know. I I don't know how to say that damn name. Rahman, some shit. I don't know.
You'll mispronounce it, so don't. I tell you live. This thing's Joby. I didn't see you live on YouTube. What channel? I'm not sure what you're talking about. Oh, I'm on.
You live right now. That's what you're on the channel that she's on.
It's on Twitter. It's on Twitter. So, okay. I think you can comment on Twitter. Okay, that's.
He's on Twitter. He's on Twitter now. We can comment on Twitter.
I see the comments from Twitter actually.
Wow, they just that must be new.
Yeah.
Wow, you're on Twitter. Damn, that's the first time. Okay, we've never had. Twitter must have finally got their shit. I mean, not Twitter, but StreamYard finally got their shit together. We're on Black Empire Network, the same name as the Twitter account. Okay, you're on Twitter. It's the same name.
And Lando says the English language didn't become comprehensive until the 19th century. Most of the world was illiterate. And shout out to Jiba Jabba who's just joining. Say hi, family. Hi to you too. Shout out to everyone who's live. I'm so happy to see so many of you this morning. Oh my God, you guys, you're making me smile and you're making my heart feel.
I'm laughing because they don't teach it. No. I'm not letting much you guys come. Well, I'm glad you guys can now comment on Twitter. That's cool. I'm laughing because I'm glad you guys can now comment on Twitter. I'm laughing because he was a slave. And the narrative that all white people taught you, all these lies, he goes as a slave and goes and says, damn, these people are backward. He calling the cracker backward. Remember, Mississippi was underdeveloped when he gets there. Not like today was all developed. Remember, this was an undeveloped country that they stole. So he goes, he says, damn, what kind of houses these white people live in? It's all fucked. He looking around and says, it's all fucked up. Right? He teaches them how to build homes. He knows they don't know how to grow crops. They don't know how to feed themselves. He's like, damn. He said, remember, he's refined. He knows how to speak all these different languages. He's smart as he's like, he knows mathematics. And you imagine talking, I tell you, and remember, that's why these black people from the South talk so stupid. Because there are people enslaved by these ignorant ass crackers that didn't know how to even talk good English. That's what he saw that bad talking black people do from the South. Yeah, what we be do talk about, we go over there. Like, what? What you say? So
it's easy, but
so Rahman knew that. He's like, so when they finally read 5 different languages, they wanted to whip him because he did try to escape. But there was nowhere to go. He's like, God damn, I don't know this land. There's nowhere to fucking go. So he came back to the plantation. He said, listen here, I'll work for you. Fuck it. I can't get back to Africa. I don't know how to get the fuck back to Africa. I don't know where the fuck I'm even at. So like I said, so he ended up staying there 40 years till he finally got back, but all his kids were forced to stay here. So, anyway,
as we get to wind up, because time is up, my time is
up.
We
winding up already?
Yeah. The next show coming up is Shumani and Iwaton on the website. So in case you've been missing out, tune in on the website and on the radio.
What happened to Camus? Camus didn't make it work?
He has not called me or texted me, so I'm not sure if he's coming or not. But since he's not talked to me, I bet he's coming. That is what I know. If he doesn't communicate, he's always on his way. If he communicates, he's not gonna come. But I do very quickly. So as we talk about, let's wait
till he shows up. Let's wait till he shows up. I will go ahead, Jobin.
What Keith is talking about, how these people didn't know anything, and I'm saying, when you look at what Lando is saying, when you look at Africa's history, how amazing it is to learn a lot of these things, how amazing it is to see what kind of people we really are, and we actually were and we are, because nothing has changed. It's just that we've been misinterpreted. But if you want to tap into the true spiritual realm and all that, like we still have it and all that. So this is a video coming from Congo. And we know Congo is, of course, one of the most exploited countries in Africa and one of the richest countries in the world, or in the continent of Africa.
It is the richest country in the world.
So, which we can see from this video, of course, we know we have so many companies set up, mining companies set up in Congo, which are not owned by Congolese nor any African organization. It is all from outside. This is a Chinese man who ate food, and the leftover, he called one of these, the people they do use to exploit the resources to eat the leftover. The reason why I'm sharing this is the sadness in this. Like how, when you talk about agriculture again, with the ones who taught these people how to eat, to farm, literally everything, cooking, and now with the ones begging. It is so sad to see this state right here. It is super, super sad. And this is why the rest of the world needs to pick like what to be. We were talking about yesterday. We saw some people being denied visa, going to America to perform. We're talking about artists, Yashinsky and the team. And we're like, this is not making sense. When we talk about, and I saw a video that has been going viral, so I'm going to share again to see how they behave and how we behave when we go to their country. We're supposed to be so humble, you can't act any type of way, you can't scream, you can't shout, you can't shit loudly,
because your nature, Job, is loving and kind, but people are not, and that's become another problem. The docility of African people has allowed other people to mistreat them. And it's gone too far. It's gone too far.
As you can see from what is happening, of course, I don't want to share the audio because there's nothing much but just a song. There is one of the comments that caught my attention where there's this, I don't know if it's a lady or a guy, who said nothing will change until Black people start respecting themselves enough to stand up.
Exactly. That's what you said. That's what I'm talking about, Joby.
There is no hero coming to save us on the wind or divinity watching and waiting.
Exactly. And that Jesus shit. Exactly.
This is it. It's just us and our strength, and us. It is us or lose it. That is what this one says.
That is exactly true. Till you start standing up for yourself like you guys did in Tanzania with that white man. That's what you gotta do. You can't be allowing people to treat you like shit, talk to you like shit, smile in everybody's face. Oh, yeah, you a human. All that dumb goofy shit. That's gotta go.
It is crazy. So it is sad to see this, and let me share the last video as we get to wind up, where we can see how these people come here and behave. Where is it? I think it was on BNN. So this is a Chinese, I don't know if it's a Chinese and Asian, whatever it belongs. So he came to Kenya and of course rented an Airbnb and ended up breaking the door. They were drunk, broke the door, and now the lady was asking for them to pay
for it.
Damages.
And
this guy started recording himself saying, she's harassing me, she's aggressive, and it is just crazy, because personally I saw nothing wrong with the lady demanding her money, and she
has money. If you're staying in my property, you break it, that's your responsibility to pay for it. What are you talking about? Shit, you're getting locked up. What are you talking about?
Okay, guys, check it out. So we're trying to check out of this place, and she's not letting us out. Let me out.
No, you can't leave till you pay.
You want to let me out, right? Now you will, yeah.
Because you got to pay for your damage.
She's being aggressive. First of all, she says, I can
I'm being aggressive. You got to pay for the damages. Fucking, what you talking about?
I didn't break anything. Guys, I don't know who this lady is, but she got really aggressive. First, she said we can check out at 12.
Oh, she's really aggressive. Finally, somebody, black woman, stand up to stand. So it's a black woman. Y'all see a black man getting beaten in Africa by these no good bastards. So,
on the door
you break it, you pay for it. That's right. You're not going nowhere till you pay. Yeah.
You've been so aggressive since we got here.
That's right. I don't care what kind of goofy video you make.
You come here to drink those drinks. You break my drink. You think I'm going to pay for your repairs? Record me.
You goddamn right. There you go. They got a black woman.
Okay, can I go through, please?
No, you can't go. Can you give me my money?
Discuss this a civilized way, because I don't like it. The way you're talking to me.
I don't give a shit. Exactly. I don't give a shit what you like.
That they can take from you, because we paid a lot of money for this, and a lot of people said that.
What are you talking about? Care about no money? That's the service, moron. You paid to be there. What are you talking about? You ain't do me no favor by you paying your money.
He's now playing victim. Oh, I paid so much money.
Exactly.
exact money people pay here. You overcharge me, da 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 da. Playing victim, and
Exactly.
I made
And
a
I don't
comment
give it. And I don't give a shit. Give me my damn money for the door.
my comment because I said no African is gonna do this to their country. You're gonna be locked up. No, they don't even want to see you, or even you won't have time to record yourself or explain anything. You're locked up. You know, the next minute you know, you're either raising funds for you to get yourself out, or you may never gonna see you again. We don't know where you went. You know, so it is so crazy. It is so crazy.
Shout out to that Kenyan woman for not allowing no one to disrespect her and destroy her property, and you're gonna pay. That's the way you're supposed to act. Not like these cowardly ass Kenyan men. I'm gonna do it. Then I say, get your weak ass out the way.
But anyway, family, that's where we wrap it up with today's conversation. Thank you so much to everyone who has been with us this morning. Aki asanteni sana. You're so many of you, and I really appreciate it. So this is, I think, the first show ever since I came to Black on Fire where I've seen many of you this morning, being honest, like this early morning, like turning up this way. But I really appreciate you guys so much, and see you guys later. That is on the Black Kings frequency. Kindly come back the same way, the same numbers, and tune in onto the amazing conversation we're going to be having. That is Kenya versus Uganda, as we get to see what we're going to be discussing. Last time's topic was super hot, so if you've been missing out, check out the previous shows as well. And also ensure you download the Black on Fire Network app in case you can't tune in on YouTube. You can also listen via the radio station and comment on the show page that is on the website.
Do me a favor, Joe, before you leave. Let's see. Was that guy, whatever his name, was he Fulani? Let's see what kingdom he came from. Type his name in again. Let's see what kingdom he came from. Was he Fulani? Oh. He might have been Fulani or Hausa. He might have been Hausa or Fulani.
So,
like northern Nigeria. Good.
From the article I had, it says ignoring Suri's prostration foster marched him to his former homestead in Natchez, Mississippi, which was still Spanish territory at the time. It was a far cry from Timbo, the trading hub where Suri's father had.
So let's see, where's Timbo at, Joe? Let's see, where's ancient Timbo at? What country is that in? Where's that city was destroyed, I'm sure, by the white man. Where's ancient Timbo at?
Okay, just a minute.
Yeah, let's see. He probably was Fulani or Hausa. I mean, he's probably from Niger, Mali, Burkina Faso area, Senegal, some shit like that. I think it's Senegal too. Senegal was too far north, so they walked him down to the Gold Coast, which is now Ghana. But he wasn't from Ghana, he's from inland. That's where Timbo's at.
Guinea, West Africa.
Where's it at, Joby?
Guinea.
Is it in Guinea?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're right. So you guys right. So this is Guinea. So Guinea, he might have been. What's the ethnic population of Guinea, Joby? Is it Fulani? That's what I say. What is the ethnic population of Guinea? So that's what that dude's got that white woman, but he got rid of her. She was stealing. He was married to that white woman. She was stealing all the shit out of Guinea. I think he arrested her ass last year. She was stealing. Or this year, she was stealing. You goofy nigga, you. Marry your own women. The fuck is wrong with you? What's the ethnic makeup, Joby, in Guinea?
Just a minute. Fulani, yeah. Okay.
Fulani, who else?
Fulani, 33%. Then we have 29% Mandinka.
Mandinka, I knew it was Mandinka. Yeah.
Then we have Pele and the Kisi. I don't know.
Oh, you got it. So okay, so majority is Mandinka and Fulani. So it can either be Mandinka or Fulani. Okay. So he's out of Mandinka. So you're right. So he's out of. You're right. He's out of Fulani. He's out of Fulani or Mandinka. But they call him the strong Mandingo warrior. A Mandingo, right? Mandinka. So Mandinka. You know, Madick is known to have them big dicks. That's what they say.
Family.
I knew what I said that was gonna be.
Have an amazing morning. Thank you so much for engaging on this amazing show today. Really becoming this amazing morning, becoming this way in numbers, you guys. This is so impressive. My heart is so happy, being honest. I'd love to even continue, but I don't really have time because of you guys just showing up. But anyway, remember to come back later on the Black Hughes frequency and have an amazing, beautiful day. I wind up with the song I started with.
Suso. Okay, Suso and Fulani. Okay, so he's one of those. He's either a Suso or Fulani. Okay, you're right. So most likely, I'm gonna look it up and see what that kingdom Timbo was. Was it Fulani or Suso? But that's what they, that's what they say. That's what they say. Jibba Jabba. I knew as soon as I said Jibba, gonna say goodbye. That's what they say. That's ridiculous, no.
See ya. Nah.